Deep in the heart of Antarctica, buried under 2 miles of solid ice, lies a secret that's been kept for over 30 million years. It's a mountain range as vast and rugged as the European Alps, with sharp peaks that have never seen the sun. But here's the twist. The foundations of these mountains are over 1 billion years old, yet the peaks themselves are much younger. So, how did a massive mountain range form in the middle of a continent, disappear, and then rise again only to be flash frozen in time? In this video, we'll uncover the incredible story of the Gamburtsev Mountains and the secrets they hold about Antarctica's ancient, greener past. Picture the European Alps, grand, towering peaks and deep, time-carved valleys. Now, imagine that entire landscape completely buried and invisible under an ice sheet up to 3 kilometers thick. That's the reality of the Gamburtsev subglacial mountains. Located near a point called Dome A in the center of East Antarctica, this massive range stretches for 1,200 kilometers. Its tallest peaks are thought to climb 2,700 meters, rivaling many mountains we can actually see and climb today. For decades, scientists figured the rock under the vast East Antarctic ice sheet was just a flat, boring plain. They could not have been more wrong. What lay beneath was a ghost continent, a landscape of staggering complexity that nobody knew existed. The discovery of this hidden world didn't just rewrite the maps of Antarctica. It challenged our very understanding of how continents and mountains are born. The year is 1958. As part of the International Geophysical Year, a Soviet Antarctic expedition is making its way across the desolate, windswept plateau of East Antarctica. Their mission? To measure the thickness of the ice. Using seismic instruments, they send shockwaves down into the frozen depths and listen for the echo that bounces back from the bedrock. Day after day, the readings show the ice is immensely thick. But then, they find something astonishing. The bedrock wasn't flat. Instead of a simple echo, their instruments picked up a complex series of returns, indicating rugged, mountainous terrain far below. They had found a mountain range where no mountain range should be. It was a discovery so profound, it was almost unbelievable, like finding a skyscraper buried in a desert. The range was named after Soviet geophysicist Grigory Gamburtsev, and for the next 50 years, its mere existence remained one of the greatest geological mysteries on Earth. How did it get there, and how did it survive? To solve the mystery of the Gamburtsevs, we have to go way back in time, not thousands or even millions, but 1 billion years. Back then, the continents were smashed together in a supercontinent called Rodinia. Around 1 billion years ago, several smaller continents collided, crushing and uplifting rock to create the initial foundation, the deep, cold root of the Gamburtsev Mountains. Over hundreds of millions of years, these original mountains were completely eroded away by wind and rain, worn down to nothing. But deep in the Earth's crust, that cold, dense root of rock remained. Then, between 250 and 100 million years ago, during the age of the dinosaurs, the crust began to stretch and pull apart. This rifting process warmed up that ancient, cold root, making it buoyant. Like a cork held underwater and then released, the land began to rise again, lifting the eroded remnants of the range back into a mighty massif. This two-stage process, an ancient birth and a much later rejuvenation, is what makes the Gamburtsevs so unique. They are phoenixes, mountains that literally rose from their own ashes. Before the Great Freezing, Antarctica was a completely different world. For millions of years, it was green. Subtropical forests likely covered its landscapes, and the climate was far warmer. Rivers flowed across its plains, carving out the valleys we see in radar scans today. And towering over this lush landscape were the newly reborn Gamburtsev Mountains. For a long time, scientists thought Antarctica's glaciation happened suddenly, but the story of these mountains tells a much more gradual tale. Research now suggests that even in this warmer hothouse world, small alpine glaciers began to form on the highest peaks of the Gamburtsevs as far back as 60 million years ago. These were glaciers clinging to the mountaintops, advancing and retreating with shifts in the climate long before a continental ice sheet was even a possibility. In a very real sense, the Gamburtsevs were the birthplace of Antarctica's ice. They were the nursery where the first seeds of the great ice sheet were sown, just waiting for the world to get cold enough for them to spread. Around 34 million years ago, the world changed dramatically. The Drake Passage between South America and Antarctica finally opened, allowing the powerful Antarctic circumpolar current to form. This current wrapped the continent in a cocoon of cold water, isolating it. At the same time, global CO2 levels dropped, and the planet cooled. This was the trigger. The small alpine glaciers that had clung to the Gamburtsevs for millions of years began to expand rapidly, flowing down the valleys and merging on the plains below. This was the birth of the East Antarctic ice sheet, but that creates a huge paradox. Glaciers are forces of destruction, grinding and pulverizing rock, turning sharp peaks into rounded hills. So how did the Gamburtsevs, with their jagged peaks and deep valleys, survive being at the very heart of the world's largest ice sheet? The answer is in the ice itself. Once the ice sheet grew thick enough, the climate at its center became so intensely cold and dry that the base of the ice froze solid to the bedrock below. The ice stopped sliding and grinding. Instead, it just slowly accumulated, layer by layer, burying the mountains without destroying them. The Gamburtsev Range was flash frozen, preserved in a state of suspended animation for 34 million years. For decades after their discovery, the Gamburtsevs remained an enigma. But during the International Polar Year of 2007 to 2009, an international team of scientists set out to finally map this hidden world. Using aircraft equipped with ice-penetrating radar, magnetometers, and gravity sensors, they flew back and forth over Dome A, essentially giving the mountains an MRI. The results were breathtaking. The data revealed a landscape of incredible detail. Sharp alpine peaks, winding valleys, and a complex topography that had been perfectly preserved. But the mountains weren't the only discovery. This technology has since allowed us to map the entire subglacial world of Antarctica in unprecedented detail. We now know that beneath the ice lies a vast network of more than 400 subglacial lakes, some as large as North America's Great Lakes. We've found hidden canyons and thousands of hills and valleys that tell the story of the continent's pre-glacial past. These features aren't just geological curiosities, they have a huge impact on the modern ice sheet. Recent mapping from as late as 2026 confirms this rugged terrain can act as a brake, slowing down the flow of ice towards the sea. So, why do a bunch of buried mountains on the other side of the world matter? The Gamburtsev Mountains are more than just a geological oddity. They are a key to understanding our planet's past, present, and future. They're a time capsule that holds the entire glacial history of Antarctica. By studying them, we can understand the precise conditions that led to the formation of the ice sheet 34 million years ago. This information is critical for our climate models. Understanding how and why an ice sheet forms is the first step in predicting how it might melt in a warming world. The detailed maps of the rugged terrain beneath the ice are now being used to create more accurate projections of future sea level rise. They show us that the interaction between the ice and the land it rests on is far more complex than we ever imagined. The Gamburtsevs remind us that to understand the future of our planet, we have to first uncover the deepest secrets of its past. From a billion-year-old continental collision to mountains that rose from their own ashes, the story of the Gamburtsevs is a journey through deep time. It reveals a lost, green Antarctica, where the very first glaciers were born on high peaks before consuming an entire continent. And it ends with those same mountains being locked in a deep freeze, a pristine time capsule preserved under miles of ice. Their discovery is a testament to human curiosity, a reminder that even today, there are still vast, unexplored worlds right here on our own planet. We may now know what's buried under Antarctica, but the Gamburtsevs have shown us that the ice still holds countless secrets, just waiting to be discovered. If you enjoyed this journey into our planet's hidden mysteries, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. You won't want to miss where we're going next. Thanks for watching.